So one of the most common dysfunctions we tend to see in the gym are overpronated feet or flattened feet. So just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to over-exaggerate my feet and show you what it does to up the chain to the rest of your body. So if I roll these feet in, you'll notice my knees tend to come in. And what that does is it puts a lot of stress on the inner part of the joint, the ligaments and meniscus and whatnot. From a performance point of view, when we're squatting or deadlifting, one of the instructions we get from our coaches or when we coach others is to push our knees out. That activates the glutes, strengthens the hips, but if your feet are rolling in, then you have to work extra hard to keep those knees out. So there's a couple of different solutions we can do to fix that, and the first one is strengthening the medial arches of your feet. A very simple thing to do. I wouldn't encourage doing it during the exercise, but if you're at the gym, if you're at the office, if you're sitting down, it's a very simple thing in theory to do. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do it in the seated position, and I'm going to say all quote-unquote you have to do in order to strengthen the bottom of these feet is just to lift the big toe up into dorsiflexion without lifting the rest of the toes up. What this does is it activates the muscles, tightening up the medial arch, retraining the bottom of the feet. So that's the first progression, is doing it seated. You can do it one leg at a time in a seated position. The next progression is standing. Obviously there's more weight in the bottom of the feet, and you're going to attempt the same thing. Last, this is going to engage some other muscles up the chain that we'll discuss later. Lifting your leg up, and you'll notice I'm having some difficulty with this, lifting that big toe up. As I said previously, I wouldn't encourage performing that during the movement, especially if you're loaded with a lot of weight or you're fatigued during your set. It's best to do as an activation exercise before the exercise, or as a general strengthening prehab or post-rehab after. Another thing we can do, other than strengthening the bottom of the feet, is to supplement with kinesio tape. So just give me 1 second. The tape job. The tape job is actually quite simple, and it's something that you can do on your own. So what you want to do, again, is you want to get your foot in the right position by lifting that big toe up. And we're going to take the tape. You can also use athletic tape if you choose. But I like the kinesio tape. I find it a little bit more comfortable. Lifting the big toe up, coming underneath, tugging on the outside. Big toe stays up, and securing it over top. For an application like this, especially if you're a power lifter or an Olympic lifter and you're lifting heavier weights and you're heavier, you may want to reinforce that with a second piece of tape. So I'm going to put a second piece over top. Again, big toe stays up, and tugging on the outside, giving that medial arch support. So that's the first solution to a common dysfunction that we see in the weight room, is overpronated feet or flat feet. We can learn to strengthen it by performing simple exercises with progression, or taping it using kinesio tape or athletic tape.